I've heard it said, I've come to believe that love is a bet. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and sometimes it calls you right in the move. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Give me your pretty, give me your messy, give me your happy, give me your sad. I may be staying, I may be going, I may be left, I may fall apart. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Taking me down. Taking me down.
Good evening, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Lord be with you. My name is Father Mark Hughes, and I must start by welcoming you all to our online sermon from the Vestrever Parish, the Vestrever Parochial House. On this day, we celebrate the second best priest in Ireland, the 1996 winner of the Golden Cleric, and the subject of the Lourdes money scandal, the very Reverend Father Ted Crilly. Let us pray. Tonight you shall all be tested, rather like our Lord Jesus Christ in the desert, or like Gene Hackman in the Poseidon Adventure, in all things Father Ted. 8 rounds over the next hour, which will test your knowledge on the series. May the Lord guide you to the right answer, and this is how you play the Big Nerd Father Ted Quiz. So like I said, welcome to the Big Nerd Father Ted Quiz. A couple of basic ways you can play. Use the Google form in the link in the YouTube description below. You can play as a team or individually, it's totally up to yourself. Open the Google link, enter your email address, and answer the multiple choice questions as they come up. There's 8 rounds with 6 questions each, and there's only 1 correct answer per question. There's actually 50 points available tonight. Once the quiz is finished, simply hit submit. You'll get your scores at the very end, but stick about to see the answers for the quiz. It's recommended that you stream the quiz on a laptop or television and play using the Google form on your phone or other device. God bless and have some fun. Like I said, you can get in touch with the parish with all these different newfangled technologies. The Twitter, the Instagram and the Facebook as well. And don't forget, if you want to be announced in the parish bulletin at all, give us a shout out. You can always message or DM the Facebook page. And for all other inquiries, you can email BigNerdPubQuiz@gmail.com. But the best way is the old Facebook. And use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz for all your photographs. I want to see everyone out there playing and praying the Father Ted Quiz tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you can play all these fantastic quizzes. The Star Wars one there, the Disney quiz, the 80s quiz, the Game of Thrones one. A lot of nudity in that one. And like I said, the Big Nerd Pub Quiz is on every Saturday at 8 o'clock. And the kids quiz is on every Tuesday at 2. In fact, tomorrow we're doing it on Thursday instead. And another fantastic programme, sure, the old friends from New York there. We're having a quiz about them on the 8th of June. That's next Monday. And there is the uploaded version of all the different quizzes that are coming up. There's The Simpsons, James Bond, horror movie there with Dracula, a big Nerd 2000s quiz, a big film quiz as well. Sure, it's all good. All coming up in June. And sure, we're having a Pokemon quiz and a wrestling quiz at some point. So that's all to look forward to too. Don't forget you can win these fantastic Father Ted t-shirts. The winner tonight shall receive their choice of any Father Ted t-shirt from Northern Ireland Tees. Sure, they're over the border there. Northern Ireland Tees. Go to their website and you can check out all the different types of t-shirts that they have. They're very, very nice. And as well, you can win a trial pack of Enerzaid. Go to go to Enerzaid and use the promo code BigNerdQuiz for 25% discount on that. And don't forget, you can also buy Big Nerd Pub Quiz merchandise from NorthernIrelandTees.com. The parish also accepts donations to the Patreon or PayPal. So the quiz is always free to play, but if you want to keep for the upkeep of the parish, by all means donate as little as £1 or become a Patreon. Massive thank you to everybody who's been supporting the quiz over the last couple of weeks. I don't really know whether I can do this accent all night or not. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. As you can see, I've donned the dog collar. I've got the Child of Prague behind me here. And yes, we're going to be playing the Big Nerd Father Ted quiz tonight. So yes, get ready. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to John Rafferty, who wrote the Father Ted quiz tonight. It's an absolutely fantastic one. He and I are actually current Warren Point Father Ted quiz champions. So yes, it's going to be a tough quiz. It's going to test your knowledge on the series. All 3 seasons of it, all characters and everything, all little bits and bobs inside. So yes, like I said before, if you do want to shout out, do get in touch via the social media channels and we'll fire on with the first round. And it's all going to be about Season 1. So season 1, the first season of Father Ted. We're going to be testing your knowledge and seeing how much you know about that. Anyway, so here we go. Good luck and God bless to you all. And here we go. Here's our first round, first question this evening. And round 1, question number 1. So in the episode Good Luck Father Ted, what is the first ride named at the Funland amusement park? So in the very first episode, it's the very first episode of Father Ted, what is the first ride named at the Funland amusement park? So in your answer sheet, there are 4 options for you if this is your first time playing. So you've got a 1 in 4 chance if you don't know it. Round 1, question 1. So in the episode Good Luck Father Ted, which is actually the first episode of Father Ted, what is the first ride named at the Funland amusement park? Round 1, question 2. In the episode And Grant Unto Him Eternal Rest, what does Father Jack drink to make him simulate the effects of being dead? So round 1, question 2. In the episode And Grant Unto Him Eternal Rest, what does Father Jack drink to make him simulate the effects of being dead? Frank Kelly there. Sadly, but did pass away there a couple of years ago. Absolute legend of Irish comedy. And immortalised as the role of Father Jack. So round 1, question 2. Moving on to round 1, question number 3. In the classic kids TV, which classic kids TV show does Father Dougal have on his bed covers? You can actually get a little bit of a glimpse of them there. Round 1, question 3. Which classic kids TV show does Father Dougal have on his bed covers? So round 1, question 3. Round 1, question 4. So due to the publicity from Ted and Dougal's protest, The Passion of St. Tibulus is said to be the most successful movie on Craigie Island since which other film? So yes, when Father Ted and Father Dougal are getting admonished by Bishop Brennan following their not so effective protest of The Passion of St. Tibulus, he mentions that it's the most popular film since which other movie that came out. That's round 1, question 4. As you can see, I've got the same football jersey as Father Dougal. Yes, so round 1, question 5. Before winning the All Priest Stars in Their Eyes lookalike competition, Ted's previous trophy came from placing 3rd in which competition? So, let's see if I can get that in focus a bit. It's a little bit out. Anyway, so round 1, question 5. I think the trophy actually gets destroyed at some point in the episode. But yes, before winning the All Priests Stars in Their Eyes lookalike competition, Ted's previous trophy came from placing 3rd in which competition? So it's round 1, question number 5. And final question of your round 1, season 1 questions here. In the episode Competition Time, what age does Henry Sellers tell Dougal he is? He's certainly made to the BBC. Sacked him after the old fondness for the alcohol there, but round 1, question 6, Henry Sellers. So in the episode Competition Time, what age does Henry Sellers tell Dougal he is? I think we're all he's kind of like a mashup of Eamon Andrews, Gay Byrne, and Terry Wogan. But there we go, round 1. So we go over the questions one more time like we do in every episode. So for round 1, question 1. In the episode Good Luck Father Ted, what is the name of the first ride named in the Funland amusement park? Number 2, in the episode And Grant Unto Him Eternal Rest, what does Father Jack drink to make him simulate the effects of being dead? Number 3, which classic kids TV show does Father Dougal have on his bed covers? Number 4, due to the publicity from Ted and Dougal's protest, The Passion of St. Tibulus is said to be the most successful movie on Craigie Island since which other movie? 5, before winning the All Priests Stars in Their Eyes lookalike competition, Ted's previous trophy came from placing 3rd in which competition? And 6, in the episode Competition Time, what age does Henry Sellers tell Dougal he is? I have to say, look, it's when you put on the dog collar, you do get sort of like a priestly aura about you, and it's just like, oh yeah, look in the mirror, I'm like, Anyways, so yes, that is the first round all over and done with. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with Big Nerd Pub Quiz or the Big Nerd Father Ted Quiz at any point in the night, do drop us a line. The best way to get in touch is via the Big Nerd Pub Quiz Facebook page. So yes, do let me know, and I'll give you a shout out at some point here. And also big thanks to my mum for all this Catholic tat which we have lying about the house, which is great. It's always good. We've got, like I said before, we've got the Virgin Mary and the Child of Prague here looking after us tonight. So yes, hopefully it'll be a really good fun quiz, and hope you all do well. Okay, so here we go. Moving on to round number 2 this evening. Round 2 is all about Name That Priest. So yes, the next 6 pictures, it's a picture round. So the next 6 pictures you're going to see are pictures of various priests and characters from Father Ted over the years. All you have to do is name them. So yes, a very, very simple round, or is it? So anyway, round 2, question number 1. You recognize this Scottish priest from the Christmassy Ted episode. They're caught in Ireland's largest lingerie section. So I understand. But what was his name? That's round 2, question 1. Ted tells him to hold on and think about that parish where they're going to be sipping iced tea on the lawn. But round 2, question number 1. Who's that priest? Round 2, question 2. This priest was doing important work for NASA. Or so he says. He's kind of like an aide-de-camp to Bishop Brennan. The most sarcastic priest in the world. But what is his name? I'm looking for the name. That's round 2, question 2. Round 2, question 3. A rather unfortunate end for this particular bishop when he and 2 other of his colleagues popped round to the Craggy Island parochial house. But what was his name? The other 2 bishops, one of them unfortunately died of a heart attack, and the other one converted and became a hippie and went on the road. This bishop had a not so fortunate incident. It's round 2, question 3. Round 2, question number 4. Who's this priest pretending to be David Bowie? Again, from one of the very early episodes. Didn't do that well in the talent competition. I was pretty angry about it. Round 2, question 4. Who's this priest? Round 2, question 5. Possibly the most boring priest in... Well, yes, the most boring priest. Probably one of the most boring priests in the series. Could talk the hind leg off the donkey. Really likes boilers. But what is the name of this priest? Round 2, question 5. Round 2, question 6. And it's the final one. I think it's from the same episode. Think fast, Father Ted. The Spin Master. He's a brilliant DJ. Only has 1 record. Bit of a gambling addict. Round 2, question 6. Name that priest. Don't worry, we'll go through them one more time so you can catch up. So round 2, question number 1. I'll leave it on there for a couple of seconds so you can take it in. Round 2, question number 1. Number 2. He ended up in a hamper, didn't he? Question 3. Number 4. Five. And 6. Alright, so there you go. There's your 6 Name That Priest round all over and done with. Again, want to say a big thank you to my buddy John who wrote the quiz tonight. We're getting loads and loads of requests for shout outs there. We'll get a couple out of the way before we move on to round 3. Keir McQuaid is a parishioner and he wants a shout out to his wife Jenny tonight. She thinks that if there's one thing she likes better than the quiz, it's Father Ted, so she's buzzing about it, and I'm glad to see that you're enjoying it tonight. Anyway, next person, Lisa Plunkett. She says, ready for the Father Ted quiz tonight, and she's all the biz. She says, Lisa, Mark and Ella from Newton Ards, good to hear from you guys. Wendy Patton says she's excited from the night. You will. And that's a shout out to the Pattons in Swindon. And one more shout out, Nikki Wiles, and she says, can we have a shout out to the staff at the Hearst Centre in Ashton? Okay, so thank you very much for all the wee shout outs there. And we're going to move on to the next round, and it's all going to be about season 2 of Father Ted. Okay, so the next couple of questions are all going to be about events and things that happen in season 2. So here we go. Let's fire on with it. So, round 3, question number 1. In the episode Hell, on what date does Father Dougal confirm that Galway was liberated from the Indians, Marathon became Snickers, and that the Ice Age ended? I think I asked this question in a previous quiz that I did a couple of weeks ago. So if you can get your thinking caps on, or if you've watched this episode a million times, I think this is the first episode of Father Ted I ever saw, and it was on Channel 4 as it came out. So yes, round 3, question number 1. In the episode Hell, on what date does Father Dougal confirm that Galway was liberated from the Indians, Marathon became Snickers, and that the Ice Age ended? It's round 3, question number 1. Round 3, question 2. In the episode The Plague, after first naming it Ted, Mrs. Doyle, and Father Jack Hackett, what does Father Dougal finally settle on as the name of his rabbit? So yes, a couple of options there in front of you. You had a couple of interesting goals of trying to name the rabbit, but yeah, he settled for something which really suited it in the end, I think. Anyway, round 3, question 2. So in the episode The Plague, after naming it Ted, Mrs. Doyle, and Father Jack Hackett, what does Father Dougal finally settle on as the name for his rabbit? That's round 3, question 2. Round 3, question 3. I have to say, I think this is my favourite episode. But in the episode Flight into Terror, whereabouts on the golf course at Kilnettle did Our Lady appear? So Father Ted actually has a little memorial, a little money box. He pops the coin in and up pops Our Lady. Pure class. But in the episode Flight into Terror, whereabouts on the golf course at Kilnettle did Our Lady first appear? Round 3, question 4. So which of these is not a member of St. Luke's youth group? So there's Janine Riley, Noel Ryan, Jerry Fields, and Tony Lynch. I can't help but laugh thinking about those scenes with Graham Norton. They're absolutely fantastic. So round 3, question 4. Which of those is not a member of the St. Luke's youth group? Janine Riley, Noel Ryan, Jerry Fields, and Tony Lynch. Personally, I always thought they were a little bit old to be in a youth group. Even you look at them, they're all like in their 30s, like. But that's round 3, question 4. Round 3, question 5. In the episode Cigarettes, Alcohol, and Rollerblading, which of these was not given out as a daily punishment to Ted and Dougal by Sister Assumpta? So we've got the options there: chased and beaten with a big stick, pelted with coal, dragged behind a tractor, and shot at. Apparently that was a terrible... listening to the commentary, or listening to one of the documentaries about Father Ted, they spoke about filming those sequences and they didn't have a good time doing them. But yes, in the episode Cigarettes, Alcohol, and Rollerblading, which of these was not given out as a daily punishment to Ted and Dougal by Sister Assumpta? So we got chased and beaten with a big stick, pelted with coal, dragged behind a tractor, and shot at. And finally, round 3, question 6. In the episode Rockahula Ted, who is the winner of the 1996 Lovely Girls competition? Unfortunately, the national Lovely Girls competition down in Kerry was cancelled this year due to COVID. But yes, the episode Rockahula Ted, who is the winner of the 1996 Lovely Girls competition? And to any of the viewers over across the pond or anywhere else other than Ireland who don't know what the Lovely Girls is parodying, it's basically taking the mick out of the Rose of Tralee, which is this bizarre, rather wholesome, like, beauty competition, and it's weirdly outdated. You get all these women up in ball gowns, and then they start doing hip hop dancing, and they all do a poem or play the tin whistle. It's rather odd. Anyway, so that's round 3, question 6. But anyways, round up there of the third round. So, to go over them one more time, in the episode Hell, on what date does Father Dougal confirm that Galway was liberated from the Indians, Marathon became Snickers, and the Ice Age ended? Number 2, in the episode The Plague, after first naming it Ted, Mrs. Doyle, and Father Jack Hackett, what does Dougal finally settle on as the name for the rabbit? Number 3, in the episode Flight into Terror, whereabouts on the golf course at Kilnettle did Our Lady appear? Number 4, which of those was not a member of the St. Luke's youth group? Go back and look, I think that you've got the options there. In the episode Cigarettes, Alcohol, and Rollerblading, which of those was not given out as a daily punishment by Ted and Doodle by Sister Assumpta? And in the episode Rockahula Ted, who is the winner of the 1996 Lovely Girls competition? Okay, quick, a bunch of shout-outs before we move on to the next round. I've got Dave House who's listening, and he's playing tonight with Dave, Matt, Dom, Phil, and Ed. Good to hear from you guys. We've got another shout-out for Alana and Peter in Belfast. They told my mum and dad that they're going to be playing the quiz tonight, so good to hear from you guys. Lovely to know that you're playing. Ryan Comiskey's playing as well, and he's just sent a picture of him cosplaying as Father Dougal and Father Ted. Good to see you guys as well. And yes, so keep them coming in. The best way to get me is on the Facebook Messenger on the app. But yeah, try the other ones as well. I'll try my best to give you a shout out at some point in the sermon. So anyway, the next round tonight, round 4, is going to be a Name the Episodes round. So quite a tricky one, this one. But yes, basically we're going to be describing episodes, and all you have to do is name various things which, just answer the questions, basically. So anyway, round 4, question number 1. So which episode features the first appearance of Father Noel Furlong? So, round 4, question number 1. Which episode features the first appearance of Father Noel Furlong? You can see him there dancing away. Sure, if you can work out on that clip which episode it is, all you have to do is name it. So, round 4, question 2. Which episodes opened with Ted Dougal enjoying a classic episode of Father Ben? Quite like that. It's actually very funny at the start. It's like, "Oh, Ben, put the shorts on me head." Oh, Brendan, you really are a big fool. Round 4, question 2. So which episode opens with Ted and Dougal enjoying a classic episode of Father Ben? Round 4, question 3. Which episode features the first appearance of Sister Assumpta? So yes, she does make a fair few appearances, like a kind of a recurring character. But which episode features the first appearance of Sister Assumpta? And it wasn't the time when Dougal was wearing his blue jumper. It's round 4, question 3. Round 4, question 4. Which of the following characters has appeared in the most episodes? So Tom, Bishop Brennan, John O'Leary, or Father Dick Byrne? Tom, as you know, is the kind of the psychotic young man who lives on the island. Father, I've killed a man. Bishop Brennan, of course, no introduction, played by Jim Norton, who actually was in Star Trek and Frasier. John O'Leary is the man who owns the shop. It's Mary and John. And Father Dick Byrne, no introduction needed for him. That's round 4, question 4. Round 4, question number 5. Of which of these actors has played the most different characters on the show? So yes, you have some recurring cameo characters in it. So Arthur Matthews, Graham Linehan, John Kenny, or Frank Kelly. Arthur Matthews and Graham Linehan, obviously the writers and creators of the show. Jonathan Kenny and Frank Kelly, other actors who obviously appeared in it, but in various different guises. But which of those actors have played the most different characters in the show? So that's round 4, question 5. And back to Tom there. But round 4, question 6. On which episode was the last appearance of Tom in the series Father Ted? So that's round 4, question 6. And which episode is the last appearance of Tom on the show? So round 4, question number 6. And as always, there's your roundup there for the 4th round. So yes, which episode features the first appearance of Father Noel Furlong? Number 2, which episode opens with Ted and Dougal enjoying a classic episode of Father Ben? Number 3, which episode features the first appearance of Sister Assumpta? 4, which of the following characters has appeared in the most episodes? Like I said, they're listed there in the fourth question. And which of those actors previously mentioned plays the most different characters on the show? And finally, which episode features the last appearance of Tom on the show? Played by actor Pat Short, who made up part of the duo The Dumbelievables. This is one of the best things about Father Ted. It cast nearly all Irish actors in it, and most of the actors in Father Ted were actually stand-up comedians. So like Dermot Morgan and Ardal O'Hanlon were both stand-ups, and Frank Kelly had a massive background in sketch comedy as well. But Polly McLynn was actually the only regular cast member that wasn't a comedian, and she was actually she's just an actor out of Trinity. But yes, this is Big Nerd Pub Quiz. If this is your first time joining us, then thank you very much. You can support Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating to the PayPal and Patreon. The links are just coming up there. So yes, you can donate to the Big Nerd Pub Quiz on those two links. Like I said, the quiz is always free, but if everyone donates £1, then it makes it worth my while doing them. Like I said, there's tons and tons of quizzes coming up over the next couple of weeks. We've got the likes of the Friends quiz, which is coming up on the 8th of June at 8 p.m. That's Monday the 8th of June, so do tune in for that. And there's the lineup for the next month. It's going to be a music quiz this time next week. Going to be really fun. Simpsons quiz on the 15th. I know my mate Ryan is helping me write that one. My friend Neil's helped me write the Friends quiz. And big thanks to everyone who played the Marvel DC quiz. The winner of that, the comic book guys package, if you're listening tonight, Stephen Douglas, the winner of that, will be sending you an email about how to claim your prize. So yes, but that is the next lineup there. And don't forget, tonight's winner of the Father Ted quiz can win a selection of fantastic Father Ted t-shirts, courtesy of Northern Ireland Tees, the supplier of the merchandise for Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Do check out the range. They've got a massive range of Father Ted t-shirts. It's northernirelandtees.com. Their t-shirts are fantastic quality. And you can also buy Big Nerd Pub Quiz merchandise exclusively from the website. Use the code BIGQUIZ for a 10% discount. And like I said before, keep the shoutouts coming. Sean Markey and Heather are playing over in Glasgow, and Declan McKay is playing in Jersey. Good to hear from you guys. A couple more shoutouts here, if I can see. I know Amy Cochran, she's watching tonight because she begged me to do the Father Ted quiz. She's probably one of the people who was like, yes, definitely do it. Sarah Arns is playing, and she says a big shout out to Sean, Gav, Alan and Mick, who are massive Father Ted fans. Good to hear from you guys. Dan wants to say, can you say a special hello to Dylan and Abby in Spiddle in Galway? Good man yourself. Good to hear from you guys. And Cara, she says, greetings from Biggleswade in Bedfordshire, playing again this evening in the Father Ted quizzes. The reason Gareth and I got married, I asked him to marry me, and he continued to say, go on, go on, go on, till he said yes. Well, that's great to hear. Anyway, like I said, keep the shout-outs coming in. It's great to hear you all playing across the world. And yes, we're going to fire on with the next round. So we're over halfway through the quiz, and we're moving on to round 5. The Rude Cullet Christmassy Ted episode. So yes, this episode, all the questions are all going to be about the Christmas special. So yes, round 5, question number 1. So yes, Raffo did mention to stress this. What is the name of the priest Father Todd Unches admires for his effortless chalice work? He gives good mass. But yes, Father Todd Unches is not actually Father Todd Unches. He says he is that priest, but then he actually mentions at the end of the episode, that's not my real name, even though he is actually a priest. But played there by Jerry McSorley. Yes, so round 5, question number 1. What's the name of the priest Father Todd Unctious, inverted commas, admires for his effortless chalice work? He gives good mass. So that's round 5, question number 1. Round 5, question number 2. We all remember this very famous scene, but what is the penultimate name Mrs. Doyle guesses before saying Todd Unctious? Some fantastic names in there. I think Hiroshima Twinkie is my favourite. Rabula Conundrum is another one. I think some of the other ones, I think he mentions Father Tony, some of the other ones, I think, what's his name from the Divine Comedy? They're all mentioned. Why can't I think of the name of the lead singer of the Divine Comedy? That's going to annoy me. Can someone text me the name of the lead singer for Divine Comedy? Because I used to see him knocking around Dublin all the time. Oh, that's going to wreck my head. But they did all the music for Father Ted, and it gives me great happiness that Neil Hannon. God, why did that was wrecking my head. That Neil Hannon wrote all the music for Father Ted, and he also wrote all the all the incidental music, like My Lovely Mayo Mammy and My Lovely Horse and everything. But yes, what's the penultimate name that Mrs. Doyle guesses before saying Todd Unctus in the Christmas episode? Anyway, round 5, question 3. Which priests landed a bit part in the new Bond movie after winning a Golden Cleric? Yes, it's mentioned that the Golden Cleric, the most prestigious prize in all priesthood, it opens doors for you. I mean, you can get an agent and everything like that. But which priest landed a bit part in the new Bond movie after winning a Golden Cleric? It, like I said before, mentioned in the episode. Round 5, question 4. So how many priests in total were stranded in Ireland's biggest lingerie section? So yes, do the math in your head there. Father Ted and Father Dougal, those two lads. And there's a few other ones. Well, how many priests were in Ireland's largest lingerie section? Father Jack wasn't involved, of course. Father Jack was sitting in Father Dougal put him in the play area there. Thanks, Dave, for that heads up on Neil Hannon there. But yes, how many priests were stranded in Ireland's largest lingerie section? Very keen-eyed viewers noticed that's Duns. That's a Duns somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, round 5, question 5. What does Ted speculate that Father Jess Flavin in Montana does to make 50 grand a year, plus 2,000 in tips? So yes, it's a bit of a throwaway line, that, but yes, do rack your brain on that one. Round 5, question 5. What does Ted speculate that Father Jess Flavin does in Montana to make 50 grand a year, plus $2,000 in tips? Round 5, question 5. God, we're flying through this tonight. It's only just gone past 8:30. But sure, the sun's really, really nice outside. Sure, you wouldn't be like... I do appreciate you all being in here, playing the quiz tonight. But anyway, so round 5, question 6. It doesn't really have a story. It's mostly about football. But what football annual is Dougal referring to in this episode? That's round 5, question 6. Like I said, Father Dougal, big football fan. They're all big football fans. But yes, round 5, question 6. It doesn't really have a story. It's mostly about football. So what football annual is Dougal referring to in the episode? And there is your round 5 roundup, all about the Christmassy Ted episode. So yes, what is the name of the priest Father Todd Unctus admires for his effortless chalice work? He gives good mass, as he says. Fortunately, they were going to sit down and watch Indiana Jones, and then some mass from St. Paul at the Vatican came on. Oh no, it's from somewhere else. It's a church in Dublin. Anyway, number 2. What is the penultimate name that Mrs. Doyle guesses before saying Todd Unctus? Tons of options there. Number 3. Which priest landed a bit part in the new Bond movie after winning a Golden Cleric? Number 4. How many priests in total were stranded in the Ireland's largest lingerie section? Number 5. What does Ted speculate that Jess Flavin in Montana does to make 50 grand a year plus 2,000 in tips? And number 6, it doesn't really have a story, it's mostly just about football. But what football annual is Father Dougal referring to in this episode? That's your 5 round 5 questions, all up to date. Okay, so yes, a couple more shout outs. Liam Shortall says it's Duns. And he's mentioned the place, but there might be a question about some locations later on. But yes, hello, that's from Liam Shortall in the Banner County. Ross Foster, he's texted in the name of Neil Hannon. We've got Dan, Emma Eden, she says, can you say hi to Dylan and Abby in Spiddle in Galway? Sarah Morrow was telling me to slow down. Yes, I know we've flown through tonight's quiz. Like, there's not as many multimedia episodes, but like I said, you can always pause the quiz at any point and go back. And Mark Harris says, can we give a shout out to all the Melters, aka the whole Hare family playing from across the UK? That's from Mark the Melter in Manchester. Like, yes. But don't forget, if you want any updates on any of the quizzes coming up, or if you have any suggestions, or you want to write a quiz like my friend Rafo here, you can get in touch with me using all the different social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So yes, don't forget to follow and share all your pictures. Use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz. I want to see all yous out there playing along. And if you've especially if you've any cosplay, I'll give you a retweet at some point. But yes, all social media channels there. Do keep in touch. And like I said, all details of more quizzes coming up in the future are all going to be posted on that. So here we go, moving on to the next round, and it is a specialty round. Quite a tricky one, this, but it's kind of tied into the episodes one as well, and it wouldn't be a Father Ted quiz if we didn't mention this chap, Father Larry Duff. So yes, this is quite a tricky round. I'm going to show you 8 instances where Larry Duff falls afoul of some bad luck, and all you have to do is put them in order in which they happened in the Father Ted series. Larry Duff appeared primarily in season 2 of Father Ted, so all you have to do is work it out from the first appearance to the last. So yes, Larry Duff. Here are those famous moments. I think these are all the moments when Larry becomes a cropper, so put them in order as they are seen in season 2. So, working from top left, working our way right. But so, this is probably my favorite one. It's like, yes, he had a big box of machine guns in his car. She didn't know he'd be into that sort of thing. You think you know someone? But anyway, so the checkpoint scene there. One of the priests makes a run for it and gets gunned down. Next to that, Father Larry taking a Christmas break. He went skiing somewhere in the Alps, and yes, fortunately falls. Next, the Glass Rowan Donkey Derby. I think Father Ted was mentioning it. He had the same amount of chance of being killed by a big stampede of donkeys. Next episode there. The one where they're trying to offload the rabbits to Larry, but instead he got a dozen Rottweilers. She wouldn't really be wanting the rabbits around them. Next episode there is the one where the knife thrower, as you can hear, it didn't end up very well. And then very close to the end there, Larry could have won 10 grand. And his phone went off. Larry Duff in the car. And that last one there in the very bottom, Larry picks up the stapler and staples his head. But yeah, it's really tough round, this. But if you can kind of work out which one comes first and which one comes last in terms of episode order, that could give you an indication of where to fill in the other ones. So yeah, very difficult round, this. And yes, we couldn't really show the clips due to various copyright reasons. But yes, Larry Duff, where do those scenes take place in order? So yes, if you think the top right, if you think the checkpoint one was the first one, put it at number 1. If you think the skiing one was the second appearance, put it at number 2. The Donkey Derby 3, 4, and so on. You get the idea. So yes, there's 8 options there. We'll leave them up for a couple more minutes. Give you a chance to regroup and work it out. If you have a pen and paper handy, you can kind of just sketch it out even. Well, like I said, very tricky round, this. So that's round 6. Leave them up there for another little while. Do a couple more shout outs while I'm here. Give a shout out to Big P and Gabe in Carrickfergus. That's from Emmy. Good to hear from you guys. Thanks for playing. Getting a few old messages here on the old Instagram. Shout out to Sheila and Michael in Restrever, and that's from Caroline Clerkin. Or McKenna now. No, she's watching with Shamey probably. Good to hear from you guys. Tara Lunn says, you're sounding like Owen McLove tonight. Well, yes. It's kind of what happens when you put the dog collar. Emmy said she wants the biggest shout out to Big P and Gabe. Yes, in Carrickfergus did mention that. And can we get a shout out to Campbell and Callum in Glasgow, Scotland's biggest Father Ted fans, I understand. Good to hear from you guys. Thanks for playing. I'm going to leave that up for one more minute and then we're going to go on to the next round. 2 more rounds after this. Bring us up to about 9 o'clock. So yes, the checkpoint, the skiing, the donkey derby, the Rottweilers, the knife thrower, the quiz show, the car, and the stapler. Bring us right up to 20 to 9. So there we go, 20 to 9 now. And yeah, I know that was a really difficult difficult round, but hopefully you'll be able to pick up a couple of points in the next round. It'll be interesting to see who actually does get full marks in this, because we've been to Father Ted quizzes before and they're not easy. Like, they're not, a lot of work for a show that only had about 26 episodes. It's amazing how much of a quiz you can squeeze out of it. But anyway, this is Big Nerd Pub Quiz Father Ted special. Moving on to round number 7, and this might be an interesting one. It's all about geography. So yes, the next couple of rounds relate to fictional and non-fictional locations in the Father Ted universe. So yes, Father Ted geography round. So round 7, question number 1. So which county was the Holy Stone of Clonrickard moved from because it wasn't doing good numbers? So that's round 7, question number 1. See, they've bumped it up there from a grade 3 to a grade 2. And with that, the admission price there goes up to 20 quid. But which county was the Holy Stone of Clonrickard moved from because it wasn't doing good numbers? That's round 7, question number 1. Round 7, question 2. In reality, which of the following counties lays claim to having the real Craggy Island? So yes, they're off the coast of this particular county. And these islands actually compete to see who actually... They have Ted Fest out there every year, and they have competition to see who actually becomes the Craggy Island for the next year. But it's very, very popular, just because to show you, like... And yes, the house there, you can go and visit it. And it is a private residence, and I think it is a tea room, but if you book ahead, you can go and go into it. But it looks absolutely nothing like the one in the show. But yes, all the exterior shots were done there back in the 90s. But it's round 7, question 2. So in reality, which of the following counties on your Google list there, which county lays claim to having the real Craggy Island? It's got the shipwreck off the side of it as well. Round 7, question number 3. Father Daly is alleged to have a lump on his face in the shape of which Irish province? I forget the episode which it's named in, but... Yes, it is mentioned. It's kind of like Father Bigley. Father Bigley is mentioned in so many different contexts, and his appearance is described to be quite grotesque. But this particular Father Daly has a lump on his face, the shape of which Irish province? That's round 7, question 3. Round 7, question 3. Round 7, question number 4. So, which side of Craggy Island is reported to have drifted off during a storm? You know they take the roads in on Craggy Island, but which side of Craggy Island is said to have drifted off during a storm? It's round 7, question 4. Round 7, question 5. Where is Bishop Brennan from? Now, he doesn't actually say it himself. Father Ted mentions it in the episode The Plague. And he says he does mention it. Or is it The Plague, or is it the... I think it is that episode, yes. But round 7, question 5. Where is Bishop Brennan from? And round 7, question 6. Father Jack was sent to Craggy Island after presiding over a disastrous wedding. And it's mentioned, but where does this wedding take place? It's round 7, question 6. For Father Jack sent to Craggy Island after presiding over a disastrous wedding. Where does this wedding take place? Okay, so that's the penultimate round of the quiz. So quick roundup of those questions one more time so you can get We listened to them. Number 1, which county is the Holy Stone of Clonrickard moved from because it wasn't doing good numbers? Number 2, in reality, which of the following counties, or which county actually lays claim to having the real Craigie Island off its coast? Okay. We mean not the actual location where it's filmed. I have to clarify that. We know it's filmed in a certain county, but the opening shots of Craigie Island. Number 3, Father Daly is said to have a lump in his face in the shape of which Irish province? Which side of Craigie Island is said or reported to have drifted off during a storm? Where is Bishop Brennan from? And Father Jack was sent to Craigie Island after presiding over a disastrous wedding. Where did that wedding take place? Okay, so we're coming up to the penultimate round here. Thanks very much for all your shoutouts. And we've got some fantastic pictures here of people actually showing them at the locations. So there we go. We've got Cara Colgate, and she says, shout out to the Carrigans and Colgates playing in England. Good to hear from you guys. Lindsay Halliday says she's a massive rugby nerd, and she suggested we could do a Big Nerd Ireland rugby quiz. Yes, we could do that, of course, Linda. A shout out to Blondie Lynn, please, and that's from Andy Blair. And a birthday shout out from David Mooney, and that is for on the 4th for Scott, Stacey, and Tasha, and that's from longtime player David. Good to hear from you, buddy. And Darren Archer says, shout out to Johnny and Ian, who socially distancing quizzing in Ballymena in County Antrim. Good to hear from you, Darren. Thanks very much for all your texts in. We'll see if we can do a couple more texts and shout outs towards the end. Coming into the final round of tonight, and it's all about the final season of Father Ted, Season 3. Are you all right there? So yes, the last 6 questions all about the final season of Father Ted, Season 3, which went out in 1998. Basically, just a heads up, on the very, very last question, you'll hit submit. You will get your score at the very, very end. But stick about, because I'm going to be reading out the answers. So, round 8, question number 1. So what was the final score in the Priests 5-a-side over 75s indoor challenge football match? Jason Byrne there in a very early role. Like I said, they always got different comedians to come and play different parts in Father Ted. But these are fake hands! You could forget. Anyway, so what was the final score in the All Priests 5-a-side over 75s indoor football challenge match? Romeo Sensini there. The Italian wonder kid. Round 8, question 2. In the episode, are you all right there, Father Ted? What book did Father Ted go to retrieve after lending it to Father Fitzgerald? Yes, Father Fitzgerald had a little bit of penchant for the German side of World War II. She think Father Ted didn't really mind. She thought Father Ted didn't really mind when he walked in. But in the episode, are you all right? Are you all right there, Father Ted? What book did Father Ted go to retrieve after lending it to Father Fitzgerald? Round 8, question 3. Tommy Tiernan there in the role of Father Kevin. But having previously recovering from depression earlier in the episode, Father Kevin becomes depressed again after hearing a song by Radiohead on the bus. But which album does the song feature on? That's a really tricky one. You need to know your Radiohead for this. The song is exit music from a film, which was also featured in the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. And after listening to Shaft during the episode, he gets all happy. And then at the end, he's on the bus. The bus driver pops on the radio, and the song comes on by Radiohead. But what album does the song feature on? Really, really tricky one, that. Round 8, question 4. After Bishop Brennan expresses concern with missing his audience with the Pope in Rome, Dougal says, I love those programs. Have you seen the one with blank? So round 8, question 4. He mentions he watches... Do you remember those audience with programs? It was like... They have someone famous on, but yes. Bishop Brennan says he's concerned about missing his audience with the Pope in Rome. And Dougal says, I love those programs, but have you seen the one with blank? Who is it? There's himself anyway, Owen McGlove. But round 8, question 5. In the night of the nearly living dead, what flavour of cake did Mrs. Doyle bake a jumper in to give to Owen McGlove? Because he loves two things. He loves jumpers and cakes. I could have you killed. So round 8, question 5. I smell wee. Sorry, I'm going to have to stop doing all these impressions. This is the penultimate question of the evening. In the episode of Night of the Nearly Dead, what flavour of cake did Mrs. Doyle bake a jumper in to give Owen McGlove? So what flavour was the cake? Here's a little puppy with a broken paw. Okay, just before we go on to the very, very last round, don't forget, just hit submit, you'll get your scores, but stick about for the answers at the end. Here comes the final question. So, in the episode The Mainland, round 8, question 6, in the episode The Mainland, what does the sign in the picture with Dougal say? So Raffles covered it up there. So yes, photography not one of the great skills Father Ted has. But in that episode, The Mainland, what does the sign in the picture with Dougal say? So there you go. That is the Big Nerd Father Ted quiz, the long requested, eagerly anticipated quiz. So here's your round 8 roundup. We'll go through them one more time. So what was the final score in the All Priests 5-a-side over 75s indoor football challenge match? Number 2, in the episode Are You Right There, Father Ted, what book did Father Ted go to retrieve after lending it to Father Fitzgerald? 3, having previously recovered from depression early in the episode, Father Kevin becomes depressed again after hearing a song by Radiohead on the bus, but which album did the song feature on? And number 4, after Bishop Brennan expresses concern with missing his audience with the Pope in Rome, Dougal says, I love those programmes, but have you seen the one with... Number 5, in the episode Night of the Nearly Dead, what flavour of cake did Mrs. Doyle bake into a jumper to give Owen McGlove? And finally, in the episode The Mainland, what does the sign in the picture with Dougal say? So, like I said before, hit your request or hit your submit button and you'll get your answers. Shout out to Wendy and Andy and Carrickfergus. That's from Peter and Gemma in Belfast. Good to hear from you guys. See if we can get any more done before the next one, before we read out the answers. Let's see. We'll fly through them here and see if there's any more here. Stephen McCullough's, he's watching tonight. Let's see. Megan Rose McCartan, can you say a wee shout out to and a prayer for Karen and Bobby in Belfast who are suffering after drinking a little bit too much holy water last night? Good to hear from you guys. Thanks for playing. Can we get a shout out for Campbell and Callum in Glasgow? I heard from you guys already. Susie Boswell, did you know that you have 2 streams running in YouTube? Don't know about that. Anyway, I hope you're tuned into the right one. I'm having the baldies about what's happened there. Shout out to Steph and Davey. Love the quizzes. Keep it up. Thank you very much for tuning in. And they're not my legs. And that's from Mary Lewis. She sent a picture of her dog there. One more shout out there. And it's a shout out to the McGlyns and Sullivans and the Doyles doing the quiz in England and Ireland. And one more. I think this is the last one here. Can we get a shout out to Gavin and Sienna, is that it? They play every week and we love it, and that's from Gavin Black. Good to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget, we've got another quiz coming up this Saturday and you can have a chance to win more prizes there. We're actually giving away this really cool quiz game. It's called Shot in the Dark. I was donated by the guys who made this really cool card quiz game, so you could win a copy of this by playing the quiz on Saturday. So here we go. Here's the answers for the Big Nerd Father Ted quiz. Let's see how you got on. I'd be really keen to see if anyone got full marks in this. So anyway, here we go. Round 1 answers. So the first one mentioned there, the first ride mentioned there in the first episode is the freak pointing. 2, Father Jack nearly dies after drinking floor polish. Father Dougal has He-Man blankets. Jurassic Park was the movie that was the most popular movie in Craigie Island before The Passion of Centibulus. Father Ted had a Ludo Championship trophy, and 37 is the age that Henry Sellers says he is. So the names of those priests: Father Deegan, Father Jessup, the most sarcastic priest in Ireland; Bishop Fax, the one who got the Holy Stone of Clon record shoved up his nether regions there. Father Harry Coyle is the one who lost out on playing David Bowie. Austin Purcell, the priest with the most annoying voice. And Father Billy O'Dwyer, the Spin Master, from the same episode. July 19th is that famous date when they go on holiday. The rabbit was called Sampras. Our Lady appeared at the 13th hole in Kilnettle. Noel Ryan was the odd one out there. We had of the St. Luke's youth group. Chased and beaten with a big stick. Now, Father Ted and Father Dougal don't... That punishment's not doled out on them. It's doled out on the other ones from Rugged Island. Father Dick Byrne and Father Cyril McDuff. And Imelda was the winner of the Lovely Girls competition. So those episode answers. Hell is the first episode we see Lowell Furlong. The Plague And God Created Women, John O'Leary, John O'Leary is the character who's actually appeared the most times in Father Ted. Arthur Matthews is the actor who's actually played the most parts in Father Ted. You see him appear in a couple of things. He plays Father Ben, he plays a priest, and he also plays that... Remember that guy on the picnic? You fucking bastard. Anyway, and The Plague again is the last appearance of Tom. Alton Crosby gives good mass. Father Canaber Lammer is the priest mentioned before, Claude Unctious. Father Buzz Dolan has that appearance in the Bond movie. 8 priests get lost in Ireland's lingerie section. The lap dancing is the racket that priest in Montana has got on. And Shoot is the name of the annual that Father Dougal is reading. So, the order. This was tough now. If you got this, I am going to be so impressed. But here we go. Here's the order of appearances of Father Larry Duff's demises. Driving off a cliff, the knife throwing, the checkpoint, mauled by Rottweilers, the quiz show, Stapler House of Cards, trampled by a herd of stampeding donkeys, and the skiing avalanche. Penultimate round, number 7. Fermanagh is where the Holy Stone of Clonrickard is. Those islands are off the coast of Galway. As I said before, Clare is where they filmed it. But Galway is where the opening shots of the islands are, and they say they are the real Craigie Islands. Connacht is the shape of the big mole on that priest's face. There's no west part of Craigie Island, it's gone. Limerick is where Bishop Brennan is from, and Athlone is where that bad incident with the wedding and Father Jack. Final score at the priest's football game was 2-1. Stephen King's The Shining was the book that he gave to Father Fitzgerald. OK Computer is where the name of the album. Elton John, the audience with Elton John. The cake was banana cake, and Father Dougal was pictured near a gent's sign. So like I said before, thank you very much for playing the Father Ted quiz. This brings us up to 3 minutes to 9 tonight. A nice round hour. Don't forget to stay in touch with me, and if you have any suggestions for any quizzes, if you want to volunteer to write one, by all means, go ahead, get in touch with me, let me know. I've had loads and loads of volunteers who are looking to write quizzes for me, and Raffo, who wrote this quiz, John Rafferty, massive round of applause, a massive thanks to him for putting this quiz together and putting the time and effort to do this. He's an absolute star. Ralph was also writing the Big Nerd Wrestling quizzes, which is coming up sometime in July, so I know a lot of big wrestling fans out there who are looking forward to that one. Don't forget, we've also got the Friends quiz coming up, so if you know any Friends fans out there, I think there's 1 or 2 of them. 8th of June 2020, that's when that's on. And we got the Big Nerd Music quiz coming up on the 10th. Simpsons quiz coming up right after that. Big Nerd Movie quiz, James Bond, Big Nerd 2000s quiz, a horror quiz. And we've relocated the kids quiz to Thursday, so we are doing a kids quiz tomorrow, so if you know anyone who would like to play that, it's vaguely educational. And like I said before, don't forget to donate to the Patreon page. Like I said before, if you want to support the quiz is based on a model of soundness. If you'd like to buy me a pint or a cup of coffee or donate that, by all means do so. Like I said, it's keeping me fed here. You can donate to paypal.me, BigNerdPubQuiz, and patreon.com/BigNerdPubQuiz. Big thank you to everyone who's been supporting me over the last couple of weeks. And it's just time now for our final blessing. So in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, God be with you all. Thank you very much for playing. And we see you again for the next broadcast, which is going out, regular quiz, on the 6th of June, 8 p.m. Tell all your friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care. Have a great rest of your week. And God bless. Good night.